Coming to you from Orange County, California, this is the Jug Life Podcast with Max Ada and Chad Wesley Smith.
By the time I get to competition, I'm just so excited it's almost like show and tell, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a cool ass toy that you want to bring to class and show everybody, you know, like you can't sleep the next morning. I mean, that night before, you're thinking about, oh man, I can't wait for them to see this. They don't even know I have this new accessory that comes with it. Like, it's like show and tell for me. So all it is, it's an opportunity for me to just kind of display what I've been working on. Like, hey man, you guys think last year was awesome? Wait till you see what I've put together this year, you know? And so the spotters, you know, I've been a spotter before. I know that part sucks.
Yeah, shittiest job.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for me, if anything else, before, it's almost like before I die, I just want you to know. But it's almost like before I get out there, man, not only do I want them to be alert, but I want them to understand, like, hey man, I care for you just as much as I want you to care for me. But hey, just thank you for what you're doing. I don't know, man, like, it's just hard for me to go in with any type of I can't necessarily call it negativity, but I just can't go in with any type of cloud over me that's not me. You know, I'm a happy guy. I would like to think I'm a happy guy. So, you know, I just tell them how I feel, you know, especially my lift off guy. I let them know, hey man, you're my good luck charm. If I go 3 for 3, it's going to be because of you, because I can't lift this shit off myself. You know what I memean? So we talk, and, you know, I just let them know that they're appreciated. So, you know, I just feel like I like carrying positive vibes with me, you know, the whole time. And it's just, it's hard for me I just feel like as a person, it's hard for me to stay like in this like super intense frame of mind all the time. I feel like it's exhausting. For sure. It's super exhausting, you know, and I mean, it's hard for me to believe that anyone can walk around like this all freaking day. It's impossible. So for you to ask me to do that for 3.5, 4 hours, that's absolute insanity. I can't do it. At some point I'm gonna crack. It's like having a staring contest. And not exactly, and you end up laughing.
No one can beat me.
You probably could. Like, I can't do. I will make it 25 seconds and I'll crack up. Like it's impossible for me to stay that intense. So I just really like having a good time and just, you know, connecting with the people, because people, I mean, it's part of entertainment. Let's be real. It's part of entertainment. Then at the end of the day, man, if who you are as a person is reflected in your lifting, I feel like it adds longevity to it. You know, I mean, I'm not always going to be the strong. We're not always going to be the strong. At some point, you know, you're going to diminish. But the one thing that doesn't diminish is your personality and how you approach it. So, I mean, I'm going to have fun until I'm not having fun anymore. And then when I don't, I'm done. So I just try to take it out there.
I think this goes to something that I try and convey to people when they get ready to compete too, is the training. And it was this way for me. Like the training isn't the fun part.
No.
That's the work.
Yes.
The competition is the time to show the fruits of all that hard work.
Exactly.
So whether, you know, you get fired up or you're high-fiving the spotters or whatever, like, you got to approach competition as this is the showcase for all of the weeks and months of work leading up to this. And
exactly.
I think when people can look at it that way, they can take that anxious energy of competition and make it work for them rather than work against them.
I mean, I completely agree. I think at some point, even when I've tried, I mean, I'll never try on the platform, but I've tried in training to make an attempt to, you know, maybe I should try to be a little bit more intense, you know, I have a 1RM coming up or whatever. Maybe I'll try to make it, you know, a little bit more intense, and I'll try to, you know, yell and scream and all that stuff. And I get so tired in the pageantry building up to the lift. Like, I end up I mess up every single time I've tried it. I mean, I've tried to, you know, like, what can I control a little bit better than normal? I'll try with my deadlifts. Like, I'll try to just beat my chest, throw some chalk, whatever it is. And by the time I actually get to the lift, I'm like, hold on, one more breath. And then I get in my head, and it's a wrap for me, you know? So
I saw the video, you kicked the chalk bucket.
Hey, listen, we're not talking about that right now. but it's the truth. You know, when you get out of your element as a person, you know, in terms of your personal element, like, it's not, if it's not you, why do it? You know, I mean, and don't get me wrong, being intense, it might work for, you know, Larry Wheels. It might work for Oak. It might work for, I mean, 99.9% of the lifters out there, but that's how they train all the way through. But then you'll see a lot of these, you know, young guys and girls that, you know, they're actually happy-go-lucky, just, you know, just happy people, and they train that way the whole time. And then all of a sudden they get to the meet, and all of a sudden they want to do what they see their favorite lifter do. You can't do that. There's a reason why your favorite lifter is your favorite lifter, because they do what works for them. You know what I mean? Do what works for you. Like everyone has their own race to run, in this game. But I mean, it's kind of like a monkey see, monkey do thing. And they're like, hey, you know what? Chad does it this way, so I'm gonna do this way. Max does it this way, so I'm gonna, and it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't, So I mean, my granddad used to say all the time, what you eat doesn't make me shit, but it's the truth. Like, I mean, it does, it's the truth. Like I'm not, what you do is not gonna necessarily work for me. We may have some similarities, but at the end of the day, you're your own person, I'm my own person. So who I am, I'm gonna bring to the platform, and hopefully that's the best version that I can bring.
How'd you figure this?
Jay-Z uses that line in the song. What you eat don't make me shit.
Jay-Z, yeah, Jay-Z.
I was like,
Jigga does too.
I was like, I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Is Ellis's grandpa a rapper?
I wish, right? I will wish.
Did you like go for a period of time when you first started, like trying different things? I mean, trying to be different on platform and kind of settle on where you're at now, or?
I never really had a lot of different like styles, but I used to be very, very just, that's it. No emotion at all. And I tried to hold it in, and it just seemed like it almost felt like it was counterproductive for me. So, I mean, you'll see my first, 2 or 3 meets, and I would try to, my thing was I just didn't want my opponents to know if it was heavy or not. I'll try to,
It's like
this
poker.
is that, and I'm just, we'll touch on it later, but I mean, I think that's like that's kind of a cheerleading thing. Like, you don't want the crowd to know when you mess up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to just keep it going, and so I never wanted the crowd to know if it was ever heavy. I wanted it always to look the same. The only way you would be able to tell is if you saw the vein sticking out of my neck. That's it. So I would always just like kind of go up. I wouldn't say anything. I would just get up under the bar. I would just look, get my breath, and squat, stand up, wouldn't say anything, and I'd rack and I'd walk off, and I would go in the back like, oh God, I was so heavy. So I would do that every single meet, and then I would look around, and actually what kind of broke me of that habit was watching Screamer, watching him lift. Just listening to him, he screamed over everything. And even in warm-ups, he would be screaming. And, just every single rep just seemed like it was just maximum effort. I'm like, but dude, that was the fastest thing I've ever seen. He was like, the reason I do it this way, mate, is because it's always gonna be light. So I yell at it like it's light. I'm like, what? Sure, I guess, whatever. So I went back home, and while I wasn't much of a yeller, I just tried to show a little bit more emotion, but I just couldn't get into it. So, I kept thinking to myself, like, what am I doing, when I'm lifting at home? Like, what's the difference when I lift at home and when I'm lifting, on the platform? Well, the biggest thing was, like, at home, I'm cracking jokes, I'm laughing with everybody, talking trash in between, watching South Park in between my, my sets and everything. And I'm like, wait, I'm just happy all the time. Like, why not just take this out there? So I remember the first time I benched 500, being under 200 pounds, me and my buddy, we were joking around. I wasn't really paying attention to the weight. I was like, it's on there. But we're sitting there cracking up. And I was like, man, shut up real quick. Let me knock this out real fast. So we get it off, and at the time, my liftoff guy, he knew what the goal was, almost like my lifting now. He knew what my goal was, so he would stack the weight according to how it looked. It was like, I guess it was like a ghetto version of RPE, just another guy he just knew. So he would put the weight on. I think I did like 450 I did 465, and we're sitting there cracking jokes and everything. And so while we're cracking jokes, like he takes the 25 and 35 off, whatever, and slides on another plate, slides on a 2.5, and like it's 5. I'm not really paying attention. So we're cracking jokes, whatever, and I lay back down. I'm like, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Flip off, go down, pause it, pop it back up. And he's like, man, that was 500. I'm like, what? Oh! And so I start cracking jokes again. So I was like, there's something to this.